Hey, everybody, we are back for four. If you've been following along so far, we've been here for every slate thus far, breaking down World Cup DFS for some pretty big contests over on DraftKings and FanDuel. I'm your host, Nolan Kelly, here with the man behind our projections, the man in the Discord, the man with all the information, Jovanni Vidal. Jovanni, what's going on? How was the day for you?
Not too good because Castro Schmeichel was not the play. It was the Tenacia keeper was the play, and Mbappe got there though. He helped me through, but it just
At
wasn't
least you
enough.
had some Ericsson shares. He did pretty
I
well.
Yeah, I had every single one of my lineups had Ericsson in it, but he got
It's
stopped point blank. I thought he had that goal and a penalty, but pretty
that's
controversial.
That just shows the value, though, of some of these like these really high priced midfielders that are so involved in a team's attack because like he had a blank scoreboard on DraftKings and he still finished with like 19.26 points or something. So, yeah, like still a solid play, and I think like people may end up sleeping on him in the future. He still didn't do a lot, but we're going to get into today's action, or I guess tomorrow's action. We got another 3-game slate, pretty much 3-game slates for the rest of the week until we start seeing the final match days of each group, and when we're going to have 4 games and I think 2 time slots going at the same time. So we have Japan versus Germany right off the bat. We've got Canada versus Belgium to finish things off. And in between, we've got Spain, Costa Rica. So some possible blowouts potential in there. We're going to screen share some projections. We're going to go through each of these lineups, and we're going to start talking about tomorrow's slate. There's some really interesting stuff going on. Before we get into it, make sure to sign up for BetMGM. Link is in the description. They have a no-brainer going on. It's free $200. That's it. Free $200 in your bank account if you bet 10 and you're a new user. Take advantage of these offers whenever you get the chance because bookmaker or sports books do not give them very often. So this is a special occasion for the World Cup. You bet $10. Someone scores a goal tomorrow. It's basically for the entire World Cup. That's the hush hush thing, and you get $200 in your account, free bet. So sets you up for the entire World Cup. There's absolutely no reason not to do it if you were in a betting legal slate. Click that link. It is in the pinned comment of this video. So let's get into it, Jovanni. Let me screen share here. Let's start off. So we got a first game of the day is Japan versus Germany. Germany looking like a minus 220 favorite, Japan plus 600. We were just talking about Japan a little bit before we got on the air here, and there's some interesting options, especially up front. Takumi Minat, I'm going to say his name wrong. I was like working on it. Takumi Minamino, attacking forward, midfielder for Monaco. As well, we have Tomiyasu, who plays right back for Arsenal. And we have Daichi Kamada, another attacking midfielder, 7 goals in 13 games for Eintracht Frankfurt. One of the great stories of last year, obviously winning the Europa League and qualifying, I think, for the round of 16 in Champions League as well. So some talents on some pretty top European clubs here. What's your overall take for that up against a less than stellar Germany side this year?
Yeah, I think Japan can hold tough with it. I do expect Germany to come away with the win, but I don't think it's going to be a widespread like a rout completely. I mean, Japan usually plays like really tough in their qualifying matches. They didn't have obviously the same level of competition, but they shown ability to score from a couple of different options from Kamada, from Minamino, scoring up top, and their creative chance rate is pretty good. And I'm not sure if Germany has been known, even obviously against European competition, which is said to be like tougher, but they have slipped up and given up goals. So I do expect Germany to win, but I think that Japan can at least find the back of the net, and their prices are extremely low, like for
That's
2-man pairing or one-off options.
that's what stuck out to me the most is you can get two attacking players. You could also get who's only 3,600 who will be playing right back. He's a regular as well. That those two, some cheap defense options, and then the one thing that concerns me is the opportunity cost there. It's like if you do end up rostering 2 Japanese forwards, at that low cost, that's going to cost you a future, a possible Spanish player. Like it's not exactly you're going to need at least one goal out of Japan, right?
Yeah, and then Kamada, like for the set shares, Mino for the shot volume and the scoring upside. So I would say that if you're going to one off it in cash games, Kamada would be fine. I mean, he's also involved in a lot of the scoring. Mino for like the scoring upside in like as a GPP one off, that will leave you with a lot of room. If you want to spend the defender spot instead, the wingback from Arsenal, I don't know how to say his name.
Tomiyasu.
Yep. Uh, he at least been in those positions for Japan where he can accumulate the defensive metrics, the one tackles, the interceptions, and Germany presses up, and he's going to have at least increased opportunity to accumulate those stats, and his price tag is low enough.
Awesome, makes sense. Any other final thoughts on Japan?
No, I mean I think they're going to score. I have no issues with. They'd probably be my preferred underdog play.
Yeah, me as well. I think I'm going to build some GPP lineups where I do have some Japan stacks or some correlated goalie with some of the forwards, and just hope that maybe they squeeze out a 1-0 win, and that also the public isn't on them, because I think there's probably a tendency with lesser known players and lesser known teams for the public to assume that they are massive underdogs here, and they are underdogs obviously, but this is possibly, unlike say Spain, Costa Rica, where we'll get to, this is possibly one where you could actually see an upset here, and God knows we saw some upsets or some near upsets in the past couple days. So seems like it's entirely possible this World Cup. Also, these two, Kamada and Minamino, are two of the best value plays in the entire slate according to your projections, Jovanni. So something to keep in mind. Let's talk about the Germany side here. We have a lot of usual suspects. It looks like you're projecting Serge Gnabry to start up front. We have Thomas Muller as well as an option, Kai Havertz. Those three should feature pretty heavily in the front lines. What are you looking to do with this Germany side?
I think Germany's, like the way I would approach Germany, similar to England, except without Kane. They have such a spread range of like their goal contributions and the shot volumes. Jamal Musiala can create chances. He has the shot volumes. Serge Gnabry is a heavier shooter from the wing, but he creeps up into the center. So I think Japan at least sits back a little bit more to keep their box compounded. So that would give a lot of open play offensive metrics to Germany. And then Thomas Muller always, if it's Bayern, if it's Germany, he's always involved in the goal contributions. A lot more via the assists, and then pure goal hunting option, which I think will go under owned because the how the attack is set up and the pricing is Ilkay Gundogan, who takes the penalties. You're really hoping for the penalty, but he is one of the cheaper options for a goal, chasing a goal in the from the Germany side.
Yeah, we see that a lot with him on City as well. Like you'll be rostering all these stars on City, and then occasionally Gundogan will come in with some like 30-yard free kick out of nowhere or something like that. So there's definitely some offensive upside, and of course he does take free kicks as well. So we have Joshua Kimmich, Ilkay Gundogan as a penalty kick taker, and then it looks like Kimmich as free kicks and corners mainly for Germany. Do you like any of these defense options?
David Room would be fine for me. I think he's a little priced up, and if I'm going with the Germany stack, which I would anticipate at least 3 to 4, would be the route to go. I don't think I'd get to Rune as much. I think it would have to start off with Kimmich just because he has a massive floor, and despite he doesn't need a goal to at least pay off his asking price. And
the only issue with Kimmich is that you have that midfielder assignment now, so he's like there is some opportunity cost there, right?
Yes, that's the downside of it. When they're they're designated as only a midfielder instead of midfield forward. But I think you can mix and match him with like for a Germany stack, like I said, Japan's going to give you some pretty good value to spend up, and Kimmich with a Serge Gnabry or with a Thomas Mueller is going to eat a little bit of a salary, but it's a good way to leverage against what I believe is going to be a more popular Spain stack. Like, and based on the price, we'll see when we get to Spain that Germany's a little easier to fit than Spain's stacking.
Yep, that makes total sense. And that's kind of what I was going to ask you before we get on and move on to the next game. How are you approaching Germany stacks relative to Spain or Belgium stacks?
I
Are
think
you
it
gonna?
would be. I think I'd place as a 3 to 4 man stack. Germany as the top target over Belgium and over Spain, and we'll get into those. But I think with Belgium and Spain, I would focus more on like a 2 man out of it.
Awesome, makes sense to me. All right, let's move it on. Probably, I said yesterday that Saudi Arabia was the worst, maybe the worst team in the World Cup, and they came out a win. But right up there with them would be Costa Rica. I think no one is expecting too much out of this Costa Rica side. They tend to park the bus, rely on defense. Keylor Navas in goal. I'm sure if you EPL and UCL fans out there or European soccer fans have heard of him before. The one player that I was kind of interested in was possibly Joel Campbell. If they do park the bus and they are able to kind of turn Spain over and maybe get some goals going against the flow, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, I mean like you said, at the Costa Rica generally like parks the bus. They sit back a lot, but the one thing to keep in mind, when was the last time that Costa Rica actually allowed more than one goal in a game? Because it's far and few between. So Naves is someone I'm very high in the keeper spot. Just I expect he's going to give up a goal, but he's going to see a ton of volume, and I don't think it's going to come from inside the box. I think Spain's going to be forced to shoot from outside the box, and Naves is a good keeper, so I think he could still manage as an upside of like 4 to 5 saves. Even if he gives up a goal, that's a really good value for his price tag. And you mentioned Joel Campbell. I do like him for sets. I don't think Costa Rica is personally going to have enough possession. Spain usually handles north of 70-75% time of possession. So that's really hard for any of the Costa Rican players, with the exception of Joel Campbell, mainly because he does average like north of or almost 3 drawn fouls, and then with some crossing volume, even if it's on the low end of his averages, like 3 to 4 crosses total. I think he could still pay off just because he's at such a low asking price. I think that a one-off from the Japan side that we had talked about would be my preferred option, but Keylor Navas is my main focus from the Costa Rican side.
That's a really good point, actually. And one of the things you see if you're new to playing soccer for the World Cup is like you will get goalies that face like 6, 7 shots. They don't get the win. They concede one. They still at like that price tag at 3,600. They could still very easily appear in that winning lineup. So you don't necessarily have to be chasing that clean sheet or that win upside, especially in a situation like this. So totally agree there. And I doubt he's going to get much ownership either. So any final thoughts on Costa Rica before we move on?
No, I think they're gonna battle tough, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends like 1-0 or 2-0 to Spain.
Cool. Let's pull up Spain. España in here. I like it. All right, we got some pretty good values showing up in the projection so far. Jordi Alba, Daniel Carvajal, both defenders under 6K, showing up above the magical 2.0 threshold, as well as Xavi. Just give me your general thoughts on how you're approaching Spain against Costa Rica.
Spain is very like pass happy team, like short passes. Uh, Again, because of their time of possession, I don't think that they necessarily need to score in bunches to pay off their asking prices. They have a spread scoring with Morata ending up taking the penalties, and he does get a good amount of shot volume. It was just under 3.5, I believe. His on target rate is good enough at I believe just under 50%. But what I like more, just because I don't think there's anybody that's gonna stand out for like a brace or a goal and an assist combo. I do like getting to Ferran Torres or Ansu Fati when you can, just because there's a split set share between corners, between indirect set shares, and again, the time of possession, the amount of just open play crossing volume should be enough to get them to at least build up some kind of floor. Whereas you really so Marat here's a easy way to put it. Morata, you need the goals, but Fati and Torres have enough metrics with shot volume, regardless whether it's on target, and open play crossing volume and drawn foul rates to still pay off their prices. So I think them two, or one of them with one of the wingbacks, Daniel Carvajal or Jordi Alba.
I noticed we did not have Pablo Sarabia in here. He's been featuring pretty heavily on that front line on the left spot with Ferran Torres and Morata in the center. Do you not expect him to start tomorrow?
The projected lineup that I saw, I think it's Ansu Fati starting. If Fati and Saraba, their 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 styles and the type of sets, indirect sets that they would take would be like, it's still a split against Torres. Like, one is, if Saraba comes in, it's not going to mean that he's going to take it away from Torres on his side. So I think he's fine. I don't know what the price right now of Pablo Sarabia is.
I can look that up right now while you're talking. Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, because I would imagine he's got to be one of the most expensive players from Spain. I do not think I would get to it, mainly because I could see Fati coming in, so it's gonna be hard to get to Sarabia.
He's 7,400, so it's not too bad. But what are you going with in Spain stacks? Are we going to be talking about 3-4 man stacks if you're loading up on this game normally, or are you just going with a couple guys?
I would go with 3, the most from Spain. You can go with 4 if you want to stack both wingbacks. Like I said, Carvajal and Alba will have plenty of open play crosses, and they do both push up from each side, and they'll deliver like rotating back and forth deliveries. So them two are completely fine for me, with like them two with Morata, or them two with Morata and one of Torres or Fati or Sarabia if he gets in there.
Makes sense to me. Anything else on Spain before we move on?
Yeah, I don't have any interest in Unai Simon. I believe is going to be the starting keeper. He has been, because as we've seen, and the price tag, those kind of prices for the keepers, and I don't expect him to get enough save opportunities. So if he gets one save, it's still going to be hard to pay it off. If he gets a clean sheet,
with goalies like that, it tends to be like you're not going to get a lot of saves, and the saves you're making tend to be going against the flow of play, which often result in like high danger chances, or odd man rushes the other way. So it can kind of backfire on you. It's not like they're going to be taking long range or low range chances when they do get the few opportunities that they have. But I totally agree with you there. And he's just a little bit more expensive than I think some of the other options as well that we've already talked about. Presenting sponsors, No House Advantage. You probably heard me talk about them before. Make sure you take this free $50 in the link below, pinned comment. Free $50. How often do you get free $50, Jovanni? Never. No one's ever given me a free $50. No House Advantage is giving you a free $50, and you can use that to play in their versus the house contests, which are great. They're props contests. If you're not in a sports betting legal state, get into some of those. They're pretty fun. I actually had some pretty bad beats today, so I cannot talk about my run of unbeaten streak. But it's great stuff over there. You can 21x. You can go up to a six picks to 21x your picks every day, including like some great offers on World Cup as well. Loads and loads of overlay in their contests as well. So make sure you're checking them out. All right, let's move it on. We got one game left. Who could possibly be in this final game, Jovanni? Is it possibly Team Canada making the return to the World Cup after 34 years or something? Excited?
Yeah, it's I think you're not giving them enough credit. They're gonna pull off the upset. Not as big as Saudi Arabia. They already stole their thunder, but
wow,
maybe
bold.
yeah.
Do you honestly think they're going to pull the upset?
No.
But okay, this is a really interesting game. I was kind of shocked at some of the pricing. So why don't we talk about Canada first? Because they are the underdogs here. The odds currently, or last I checked, Belgium was 195 to pull it out. Canada plus 550. So it's not like, and Belgium is really experienced squad. It's the end of their golden generation. They do have a couple of youngsters coming up, but a lot of talent from front to back. They've been the number one ranked team in the world for most of the last 5+ years. So this is going to be tough on Canada to start. But off the screen here, what's going on? Oh, there we go. Cool. So everyone's probably heard of Alphonso Davies, $7,500. What are you doing with him? 14 projected points. He's going to be like the cog, the key of this offense. If Canada is able to do anything, are you going to have any Alphonso Davies one-offs?
I don't think I'm gonna be able to pay for him even in a Canada stack. I mean, 7,500. What are you talking about? The basically the price of a lot of the or some of the Germany players, if not close enough to it. I think his floor is definitely there. For cash games, and there's not great value at the defender's spot unless you go out or once you go outside of the two wing backs from Spain. But I just think that they offer more upside.
And that's a really good point. They probably offer more upside, but none of them are going to be playing like a central, like John Herman will move Alphonso Davies up to be like the center attacking midfielder, like towards the goal end of the pitch. So in these formations, he doesn't often play his traditional position at Bayern. So it's possible that he might have a little more upside than a lot of other D on the slate. It's just you got to pay for that price, right?
Right. He's definitely the contrarian play for like GPPs at the defender spot. And I doubt he gets as much ownership as he would if he was if the Spanish defenders were priced to his same level, like 7K range.
Yeah,
I think that Davis would get a lot more ownership than both of them, despite them being heavy favorites. But I do like on Canada. I'm more interested in the two gentlemen from Club Brugge in Belgium, who are now taking on the nation of Belgium, is Kyle Larin and Tajon Buchanan.
Yes, great segue there. So Tajon Buchanan, I think, really nice price here. He's like a spark plug, can possibly generate some crosses as well. Like he tends to run just like speedily up the flanks as well. Jonathan David, really good chance for a goal as well. Kyle Larin too. Like if you think Canada has a shot in this game, these prices are pretty solid. And I think if this starting lineup is correct, that's a pretty offensive setup, I think, for Canada as well.
Yeah, I think that they're confident, and Canada has they haven't played as quote unquote like the big European nations like throughout qualifying stuff, but they did dominate the USA, Mexico, and stuff, and those are tough teams, and they're holding their own against the European clubs. And again, the friendlies are hard to judge, but if you look at like their most recent friendly against Japan, which I consider Japan a really good team, uh, they beat them 2-1, and Japan was running their main guys there, and Canada kept those offensive players at bay, and they were able to find 2 goals. Again, Laren is really cheap for a goal hunting option, in my opinion, and Buchanan is great with metrics, regardless to whether he scores or not. Drawn fouls, shot volume, he'll shoot. He's kind of like Dembele. He'll just shoot no matter what. So at least for DraftKings, that's good. The on-target rate maybe not so good for FanDuel, but
yeah, makes sense. Any Milan Borjan?
yeah, I have no issues with him. Again, it's those keepers that are like 5K and plus, because so salary for players is based on odds to an extent, but also performance. Salary for goalkeepers has nothing to do with performance. It's strictly based on odds. So if you roster one of those keepers, even if they get the win, you need a clean sheet. So I can't get to even though to me Thibaut Courtois is the best keeper in the world, it's still his price tag. It's going to limit your lineups too much. So Milan Boran from Canada, I'm totally fine with. Again, he's going to get the shot volume, and he's actually a good keeper. It's not like a shot volume against somebody who's just staying there letting in goals, like the Brazil keepers.
Whoa, that's let's not talk about my boy Liverpool there. Any other thoughts on Canada before we move over to Belgium?
No, I don't think you have to go full stack, but 2-man stacks from Canada, that is enough to cause a lot of leverage in GPPs. Cash games, I don't think you need any of Canada though.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was also pretty happy to hear that Lukaku was out. As much as I love watching him play, despite his lack of form, I think he's the kind of forward that could probably give those Canada center backs fits. And that is the weakness of this Canadian team, which is kind of in the middle. We do have some pretty good defensive midfielders to make up for it, but if there's any way kind of to if there's a weakness on the squad, that's where it is, which brings us to the offense of the Belgian team. I was quite surprised at some of the pricing here, and that's what makes it really hard to get to some of these Canadian players, because the pricing on Eden Hazard, on Michy Batshuayi, really, really low. Decent option as well from the defense, and then Kevin De Bruyne 9,500. I'm assuming will be featuring pretty heavily in your lineups.
Yeah, De Bruyne is. Yeah, spoiler alert for the end of the video. De Bruyne is my top play. I would get as much as you can. I mean, De Bruyne is someone that you are expecting to be like what Eriksen was priced at today, like the 10,200 range and plus.
Yeah,
and
this is a misprice, right? A pretty massive misprice.
Yeah, and I think it's because when they pull it, they see that the money line is minus 195, and Spain and Germany had a higher favorites, so they just assume they just tear down the Belgium attack and the midfielders and defenders for it. Like the whole player pool of Belgium feels mispriced.
Yeah, agreed. Yannick Carrasco might not get a lot of ownership at that price. I would say he's probably going to fly under the radar if you're looking for a maybe contrarian add to your Belgium stacks. Would you agree with that?
Yes. In all my Belgium stacks, I would have Yannick Carrasco, because he's more involved in the Belgium side from the open play standpoint than he is with Atletico Madrid, even though he's had those injury issues back and forth with them. But yeah, for Belgium, I prefer him regardless of if he grades out better or not than say Eden Hazard. I think Eden Hazard is. I personally don't understand why he's starting on the team.
But that price tag, though, if Hazard is playing at 5K, like he's going to get ownership, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much he's going to play, but if he plays, that's a really good price point for him.
Yeah, that's why I would pivot to Carrasco. And Carrasco is I don't have it in front of me, and I think your screen is still loading the player pool or the projections. But yeah, Carrasco I believe is higher priced than Hazard.
Yeah, Carrasco's 6,700 and
Yeah.
Hazard is 5,000.
Yes, and so to me for Hazard is projected based on the 90-minute run. I It's hard to project when people come out, and he could just take a penalty in the first 20 minutes, and then he 3x's his price almost. But I find it hard to believe he runs more than like 65 minutes. Belgium has a boatload of sub options. Dries Mertens, Thorgan Hazard, their younger brother, um, and not that he would come in as an offensive winger, but if they wanted to move De Bruyne up, they could bring Hans Vanaken, again, Club Brugge player. So they must be good. If they're from Club Brugge, they're amazing. But
Did you also say Dries Mertens as well?
yes, Dries Mertens, I find it hard to believe that he would not come in at some point. And the final talking piece for Belgium from the offensive side is Batshuayi. Uh, he's fine for a goal hunting option. He does have the shot volume and De Bruyne in whether it's club level, whether it's national levels, his created chances. He does find ways to get those through balls right to the striker up front. So Batshuayi can hurt you if he doesn't score, but for me, I'm a little higher on Canada than probably obviously than the odds are, but than most people. So to me, it's a 2-man Belgium stack unless you're adding in a defender with it, and Timothy Castagna is fine there. He has an open play crossing volume, so I have no issues with him as a third piece to a Belgium stack. But I would think it's De Bruyne and one of Carrasco or Batshuayi, basically just as a different way to get different from what's going to be a very popular Hazard and De Bruyne with Batshuayi.
Yeah, it makes sense. Hazard might be a good fade at that ownership. I certainly think that the fade is in play there, especially for the reasons that you said, that we probably don't expect him to see the full 90 there, and if he doesn't do anything, then it could be trouble. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Give me your 3 highest owned guys tomorrow.
Kevin De Bruyne is the first one, and the second one would be Joshua Kimmich because of the floor. The third one, I think I'm gonna have to go with who are we gonna go with?
Jordi Alba, Daniel Carvajal.
Probably Carvajal, only because he's from Real Madrid and Alba's from Barcelona, and Barcelona sucks.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to also say De Bruyne. That's pretty much all I've gotten to at this point, though. I am going to take some flyers on some Japan stacks and some Canada stacks, and also I think, constructing some lineups where if you're fading like the Spain stack in your lineup, taking the Costa Rica Keylor Navas and doing the same thing with Japan as well, trying that out, and you also get some cost savings. So that's going to do it for us here. We'll be back tomorrow. We're not sure what the Thanksgiving schedule will be like, but it's going to be probably daily video. We may pre-record some in advance just to keep it going. But happy Thanksgiving as well to everyone too. I guess I jumped the gun on that. It's a day early. Sign up for No House Advantage, $50 free. Sign up for BetMGM, $200 free, $250 just by clicking the links in the pinned comment description. That is going to do it for us. Jovanni, anything to say to the people as we get out of here?
Yeah, don't be shocked when Canada upsets Belgium.
Let's go! I love it. Can't wait. Been waiting
Thank
my
you,
whole
guys.
life for tomorrow. So let's do it.